Alright kids, today we are looking at a Mexican classic beer that's been around for a long time in our area.
On Louisiana Beer Reviews.
And, yes, Louisiana Beer Reviews. Dos Equis means two X's.
Right.
And this was made famous by that old guy with the beard.
Right. And it was introduced in 1897. And what it was supposed to, it was a German immigrant named William Haas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, most of the Mexican beers were started by Germans. This is actually not the original. The original is the amber version. This came out in the 80s as one that kind of competed with Budweiser and Miller, more of an American style. It's 4.3, I think. 4.4. We'll get that. 131 calories. When the original, this is the new modern 2016 label. When Dos Equis first came out, it was supposed to honor the beginning of the 20th century, so it had two 10s, 20. Mm-hmm. So the real name of the beer was 20, but no one caught that. Everybody kept going to the store in Mexico saying, "Give me the two X's beer." And they were like, "No, it means 20." Well, finally the company just said, "Forget it, we'll call it two X's." But it's supposed to be 20th century, you know, Lager Especial. Okay, product of Mexico, lager beer. I was reading on the website, they said they use spring water, barley malt, hops, of course, and cornstarch.
Cornstarch?
And or corn syrup. Corn is the filler, you know, Mexican corn. That's what it said on the website. And I'm pretty sure it's about 4.3%. Oh, there it is right here, 4.2%. Wow, that's pretty low. It's a lighter beer. And best by April of 2019. It's got the date conveniently, so it's pretty fresh.
So this actually stays fresher longer than the North American counterparts.
Now I don't know. It might have been canned 2 weeks ago. Since it's been
twisted and moved around, and we're gonna go ahead and do this.
I've seen people do that. It might have been bottled only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I like the born on dates rather than expiration dates. At least you know when it's made.
Yeah.
Hard pour recommended by the Anheuser-Busch Corporation.
And others.
And others.
And you said you had experience personally that the hard pour helped you better. Or made a better drinking experience. You can explain why, because you were talking about that on the phone to me. And that goes along with what the company is saying.
It releases the gas. As you can see, the gas bubbles are getting really active. And if you just wait a minute before you start chugging it, all that gas that should get in your system gets released. So you're not feeling bloated. You ever hear people say, "Oh, I don't like drinking beer because it makes me feel so full." And a lot of times that's people drinking straight out of a can or straight out of a bottle without putting it in a proper vessel and pouring it the proper way. Now this could be debated, and it probably is, and there are some folks out there saying, "Oh, you dumbass, you probably poured it the wrong way," but yeah. These are people, they're scientists, they're chemists, they understand molecular structures, they understand how liquids and gases work together.
Yeah,
so I would say I would go on their recommendations as opposed to someone who pops a can open and makes a knee-jerk decision as to whether they think someone's stupid enough.
Right, and if you look on the Michelob, there's Michelob down there. If you look on the Michelob Brewing Company website, there's a video that pops up, and it shows their brewmaster. I think she retired now, but Jill Vaughn, and she talks about why you want to pour it straight in. She said, "Don't tilt the glass, pour it straight in because you want to release the carbonation." And she said it releases esters, right, which is aromas that enhances the drinking experience.
Now I've seen in bars and people with keg parties and whatnot, they do the tilt because they don't want the foam head. But again,
that's a bar, and you're paying a lot of money for it.
Yeah, and this is, this is, as you can see, the bubbles have basically gone away.
They're still pretty active though, screaming up.
Well, those are the big gas bubbles. They're gone. Now we're just left with the carbonation bubbles. It's almost like champagne bubbles.
What's the color of this? Golden? Straw. It's
Gold.
kind of a different color, isn't it, than American beers?
It's gold. Light golden color.
Just seems different. And aside from that, and then we'll go on to review. This 16-ounce can is a 16-ounce can, okay? That's it. It doesn't change. It's not like a tap at a restaurant where you're paying an extraordinary price and you're getting this much foam, right?
Right.
This is no problem. All right.
This is a 16-ounce can. It looks like we may have
Close, because
close. Yeah.
and like you've always talked about how the secondary pour you get a different.
Yeah, and you can see the activity of the bubbles. There's bubble activity going on, but it's champagne bubbles. What was poured out initially from the strong pour, as I call it, were the gas bubbles. That's what was released. Those were larger bubbles, and those bubbles have dissipated now down to just the carbonation of the gas of the CO2 bubbles.
And a little lacing. All right. You ready to give it a smell test?
Smells like beer.
It's kind of faint.
It smells like that classic that you'd get off of a
Coors. Maybe Coors, Miller, or Pabst.
corn in a different way on this.
This is from Monterey, Mexico, by the way. It's a
And
forgot.
where in the region is Monterey? Is that
It's
on
in
the West Coast?
northern Mexico, probably about 100 miles south of Texas. We drove by Monterey on the way to Saltillo.
That Texas border is pretty long. What part of Mexico is it in?
That's what I say, northeastern Mexico. Like
Okay.
you got
Near to
Matamoros,
Brownsville.
Nuevo Laredo, and then Mexico. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like northeastern Mexico.
It smells good. It smells fresh.
Yeah, I agree with that. Clean. They
Yeah,
say
it smells
spring water.
clean, real fresh. Let's go ahead and give it a taste.
I'm ready for that. I can see people drinking a lot of this at a tailgate party, and not getting drunk because it's pretty low ABV.
I could see why somebody would add citrus to this. It's got that bitter note going on, an undescribed bitter note, which I'm not familiar with. It's got that corniness with it, and it's got that corn fullness to it. I don't. It's if you eat corn,
Like the Mexican tortillas, the corn tortillas.
right? It's kind of got that going on with it.
Not like the American beers. Corn.
This would go perfect with Mexican food, nachos, tacos, something with some sauce on it.
Oh, it's really starting to come into
Yes.
play now.
Yeah,
that corn tortilla.
Yeah, you could. It's not sweet corn. It's like a corn fullness, almost like a corn starch.
Like steak fajitas or shrimp fajitas. Or chili relleno. I like it, but that's just me. I always feel like the body has a little body to it, like not a lot, a little light to medium body. Crisp finish if I can get the word out. It's not the most interesting beer in the world,
Oh, well, it's pretty interesting.
but I can see why it became popular when they introduced it in the 80s.
I'd like to try its dark counterpart.
Now, how do you like this compared to our American lighter lagers? Your Budweiser, Coors, Miller, Pabst, Old Milwaukee, Schlitz.
I find those to be a little lighter in this. This has got something in it that's giving it a fullness. Maybe it's like corn. It's
different.
not corn and sweet, it's corn and body that's in it. Because and I could see why somebody would put the acidity of citrus in it, because it feels like it needs to be cut, especially coming from the American palate. It does feel like it needs to be cut. Maybe it be lime, lemon, orange, whatever.
And these will run you about $15 a 12 pack, in the bottles. I guess do you think it's justified by the tick up in the price? I mean, or do you think they're just jacking the price up because it's imported and they figure people will buy it?
No, I mean it'll run right there with Budweiser and Miller Coors.
Well, you can get
It's just
Budweiser
different.
like $10.99 a 12-pack though. So we're talking about good $4 more a 12-pack now.
Oh, pardon me. And yes, I think there should be the same price as Budweiser and Miller Coors.
Yeah, it's always going to be higher than those.
Yeah, and no, I don't think it's worth the upscale.
Okay, well that's why I was curious. And don't forget, we can get the Keystone Ice right now for $7.99 a 15-pack.
Yeah.
Let me repeat, people, $7.99 a 15-pack, which is to me the best bargain on the market right now.
Oh, it definitely is.
So what score would you, but getting off of that, because we don't want to get too sidetracked, what score would you give this?
I'd give it an A. Just because it's. I've never tasted beer with the cornstarch in it. It's not bad. It's a little on the filling side. It's clean. It's not bitter. It's across the board. I mean, you can. If anything, probably the cornstarch is a little heavy in it. Maybe it just shouldn't use as much of it, and make it just a sweet, twinge sweeter. So I'd give it like an A minus.
So you're gonna go to an A minus. Yeah, I was gonna say B plus, but I think I could go to A minus. I mean, it's a really pleasurable beer. If I had to drink a 12-pack, I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind it.
Right.
I wouldn't drink a 12-pack all at once, you understand, over a number of days. But this is the canned version, and be curious to see what the bottle version does against it. Probably be similar, very similar. So thanks for watching this video production, Les Les Bon-Ton Relais. And we're doing all these mass-produced beers. We just keep chugging through them. You know how it works, people. And we're going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to...
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Jefferson Parish, Louisiana.